Welcome to the very first Integrity Athletics Weekly. I'm Dan Andrews, also known as the Danimal. I'm really excited this week. I've had a lot going on just with getting the whole website up and running and getting a lot of social media stuff together and just preparing like some of this content, like this video, and I'm writing an article. We're going to be doing putting up content on the site and on the YouTube page and everything on a weekly basis. I'm going to do one of these videos at least once a week. And I'm also going to write some written piece will be up on the website, whether it's by me or someone else. We'll have something on both ends for you. But so basically, just as an introduction to kind of what I'm doing here, we're going to be covering a lot of good stuff. I'm more than willing to answer all your questions. So please go to or shoot an email to integrityathleticsgym@gmail.com and I'll answer all your questions in one form or another. So you may not get a video or an article written on whatever you've asked, but I will at least respond to the email. I'm pretty good about that. I hate when people, you'll shoot someone an email expecting an answer, like within a week. I think that's pretty reasonable, and then you don't get a response for like a month. It pisses me off to no end. So I'm pretty good about that. Please, I enjoy reading any comments or topic suggestions that you have. That being said, though, let's kick it off. I got a question from my friend Chelsea. A week ago, I figured it would be really good sort of starting point for these videos. And she's brand new to weight training. She hasn't done a whole lot of research or anything. She's brand new to the whole thing. So it was a pretty basic question, but we're going to go pretty in-depth on it. Basically, her question was, is it bad to lift weights, like to do any form of weight training? Because she's not necessarily barbell training, but any form of weight training on a daily basis, meaning like 7 days a week or something to that extent. The answer is yes, that would be bad. And if no good strength training program has you lifting significant amounts of weights 7 days a week. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but if you think of all the really popular strength training programs right now, like we've got Starting Strength, Texas Method, Modified Texas Method, Grayskull LP, 531, just a whole host. And you got like Dan John's Rule of 10 and Dinosaur Training and all these programs. And I don't think any one of them has you lifting 7 days a week. And the reason for that is, if you think just in terms of like the goal of training, I always try to emphasize this to people, particularly people that are new to lifting weights, because if you think about it, the goal of lifting weights is to stress the system. The system meaning like the muscle tissues and the tendons and ligaments and the whole central nervous system and all that, is to stress that just a little bit to force it to adapt, right? So that's why you hear a lot of people say, like, when you go into the gym, you always want to add just a little bit of weight at least. So whether it's just 2.5 pounds or a pound, or just, you need to constantly be trying to make a little bit of progress, though. The reason for that is if you're never asking your body to adapt to some more significant stress, you'll never get stronger, right? So that's like the guy that goes into the gym, benches 225 for 5 sets of 5 for 10 years and wonders why he never got any stronger when he tries to like max out. He's like, oh shit, my one rep max didn't get better. It's like, well, yeah, because you've been lifting the same weight for like 10 years. You've always got to be adding just a little bit, whether if you add like a pound every workout, that adds up. It always strikes me funny. You're like, oh, you only want me to add like a pound a week or a pound every workout? And if you think about that, like, yeah, if you were to add a pound a week, that'd be over 50 pounds in a year. And if you're adding that to your work sets, that's significant, especially like if you could keep that up for an extended amount of time. So no, you don't, coming back to the question a little bit, you don't want to be lifting weights 7 days a week. Generally, good strength training programs will have you lifting anywhere between 2 and 4. Any more than 4 starts to get real dicey. You start to get a lot of overtraining issues, and just like you just have this inability to recover, and it just becomes unproductive. You're going to have an increased likelihood of injuries and all sorts of good shit. So you don't see too many programs going over that sort of 4 days a week, and it's really hard to make a significant amount of progress on less than 2 days a week. Some people can't. You can definitely see progress with 2 days a week, but it's going to be slower and more gradual. It will not be quite as quickly as it would on a 3 or 4 day week program. But that's really nice, like a 2 day a week program, which a lot of programs can be modified to, like the Modified Texas Method, I'm sure you could dial down just 2 days a week. The Gray School LP, I know you can dial down 2 days a week. 5 through 1, you can dial. Like, all these well-designed programs can be dialed down and adjusted based upon your lifestyle. Like, my dad's a good example of that. He can't get into the gym reliably 3 days a week, so he always lifts at least twice a week. You sort of have to dial back the assistance exercise and everything, but 2 days a week I'd say is a minimum. 4 days a week being more on the high end of a maximum. That's generally what we'd like to see. You want to space those out, right? So you wouldn't want to lift like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or some variation of that. You want to break it up a little bit. So, like the program I'm doing right now, I'm doing a modified Texas method, and I lift Monday, Tuesday, then I have Wednesday off, and then I lift Thursday, Friday, with then Saturday, Sunday off. So it breaks it up just well enough, and the exercises are split, so I'm able to recover in those amounts of time. There's a lot more that could be said on this, but I think that basically kind of gets at the essence of the question. Yeah, so when I say that, the whole, 2 to 3, 4 days a week, that doesn't, I'm not saying that would be ideal. I'm not saying, you could have the ideal program on 2 days a week or the ideal program necessarily on 4 days a week. That's kind of the whole art of programming and training people and coaching is that, so certain individuals, like I said, my dad can only have 2 days a week, whereas I have a lot more time being in college, and I'm just more inclined to get to the gym. It's like my top priority, or one of my top priorities, so I can get in the gym 4 days a week with no problem. So that's really, I could come up, it's been said before, like the best program is the program that someone's going to do. So, you could write the most epic fucking perfect, like, program ever. Like, it would be really easy for me to write out a perfect program for an individual and like the perfect diet to go along with this that matches their goals, which is specific to whatever they want, and just hand them like the sheet of paper and say, do it, and I promise you'll get what you want. Because I could very easily do that. That's very simple. It was like, people are always asking, people always ask me, it's like, well, how do you get big? How do you get strong? And I could tell you, but you're not going to do any of the shit I tell you to do. So that's kind of the whole trick to the thing, is coming up with programs and accommodating other things that they need to incorporate into their life, just like with work and kids and other prior obligations, and just kind of like what foods they have around, like what they can afford, and how many meals they're already eating is also a big part of that. So like if you have an individual who's only eating 2 meals a day and you're writing this perfect diet and training program for them, you can't just automatically say, all right, now you're going to start eating 6 meals a day because you want to put on significant amounts of mass. It just won't work. Like, someone will not go from that extreme. It's just too an extreme of a change from what they're normally doing. So you have to sort of kind of implement these changes slowly and carefully. So if you had someone who's eating 2 times a day only, you might want to bump it up to 3. And then once they get comfortable eating 3 meals a day, you bump it up to 4. So whenever I say these types of things, I don't necessarily mean it like the ideal sort of setting. This is just generally for things you have to take into consideration for when you're actually coaching and writing programs for people. So with all that being said, I think that covers it pretty well. Thanks for tuning in and watching this video. I'm going to have a lot more stuff coming out for you guys. I'm going to have a really cool video coming out on New Year's. I think I'm going to be hanging out at a cigar lounge called The Humidor. Should be a really interesting video. It's a really cool place. Literally, I've been in there once buying some stuff. So I think we'll do a video there. It's where I'm going to be celebrating part of the day. It should be a lot of fun. I look forward to it. This is going to be a great year, guys. Have a good New Year's. Enjoy yourselves. Have fun. I'll see you next week.